touchdown. Goes long. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
Archer back to throw. Has the man open in the end zone.
Snap, roll down. Kick up. Kick is on the way. And it is good. It's good. It's good.
From Santa Clara to SoFi, it's an honor to take the handoff. Boomer, thank you. The Seattle Seahawks are the champions of Super Bowl 60. It's now time to kick off SportsCenter and the year of the Super Bowl on ESPN and the Walt Disney Company. We welcome you to Southern California, the home of Super Bowl 61 here at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. I'm Scott Van Pelt. Confetti will be falling a year from now right here. But on this night, about 350 miles to the north, the Seattle Seahawks became champions. We'll spend the next 90 minutes showing you how they did it and how this night will belong to them and the 12s for all time. With Ryan Clark and Marcus Spears ready to dive into this highlighted Super Bowl 60, Patriots and the Seahawks. Patriots looking for their 7th ring, Seattle their 2nd, and Seattle allowed the 12th man flag to be flown by Steve Largent, and fittingly giving the matchup, Malcolm Butler ringing the bell for New England. Seattle scored on its first drive, making it 3-0, but this is the story of the night, fellas. This Seattle dark side defense lived in the backfield.
It was pressure the entire night, whether they brought 4 or brought someone from the 2nd level. Drake May was under pressure, and he couldn't handle it.
There's Derek Hall. Speaking of 2nd level, here comes Spoon.
It was phenomenal. RC talked about this all week. He thought Mike McDonald would bring extra pressure, and he sure did, and it paid heavy dividends for the Seattle Seahawks tonight.
Javon Witherspoon gets home. Seahawks 8-0 this season when they don't allow a point in the first quarter. Man, they weren't going to allow a point in the whole first half. And this is a giant story as well. Here comes Kenneth Walker the third, not just a first down, but a chunk play.
Listen, late in this season, Kenneth Walker the third emerged, and this is when this offense took off early on in this game. Getting the football to him created huge chunk plays, and it showed the physicality of this offensive line.
Gain of 30 and then a gain of 29. But the Patriots defense, Swag, they were keeping them in it because they held them to a field goal. So now, Patriots are just one big play away from the lead, but there was no big play coming, was there?
No big play. The interior pressure has been something I've talked about all season long. You see the Patriots here trying to have a come-to-Jesus meeting. Everybody prays. Sometimes the Lord answers a little later. It wasn't the night for them.
Hey, like they say, the other team prayed too.
Yeah.
That's a fact. The Patriots trying to buck a trend. If you're shut out at halftime, you have not ever won a Super Bowl. It's now 9-0, and there's Jackson Smith and Jigba. Largely held in check, a bit banged up in this one. Darnold finds him there. Here, Darnold climbs the pocket, and this is a huge play from him.
This is a big play. Swag always asks Sam Darnold to use your legs, utilize your athleticism, picks up a huge first down there.
Once again, it's Walker, this time on a little screen, and it felt like the first guy to hit him never knocked him down.
I love this play by Clint Kubiak. He had New England right where he wanted him, knew that they were under pressure to make a play, get it out of his hands quick, big game.
Again, it's a field goal, so it's 12-0, and this has been an issue. Sacked again and surrendering the ball again.
If I'm lying, I'm crying. Swag said before this play, sack, fumble, Seattle Seahawks, and on cue, they made the play.
Give me my props.
Byron Murphy here delivers the punch out and the recovery. 20th time sacked in the postseason. Passing Joe Burrow, that's the most time ever sacked. Are we going to have a touchdown in this game? Eventually, Stanford Steve told you it was going to happen.
Yes.
It's A.J. Barner.
I love this by Clint Kubiak. He brings Barner through the line of scrimmage. Sometimes linebackers lose his guys that way. Last week, if you remember, in Jigba from the backfield in the end zone. Phenomenal play call by Clint Kubiak.
Finally, the Patriots get on the board as May here delivers to Mac Hollins, and they are driving. Got a lot of work to do, but the journey of a million miles begins with a single step. Here comes a pretty big one. That's a beautiful toss and catch. It's Hollins for a touchdown.
Yeah, we've seen this from the New England Patriots throughout the playoffs. They take their shots in one-on-one. Reek Woolen late getting over to Mac Hollins. Perfect throw by Drake May, and a big-time 50-50 ball catch.
19-7, wondered about maybe going for 2. They didn't, and wondered about this throughout the game. Why isn't May trying to use his legs?
Seattle did a good job, Scott. This was one of the times they allowed him to escape. But as you see here, this next play, interior pocket presence, hands in his face, an overthrow for an interception. smart by that
Listen,
D-line.
right there, if you're Drake May, you're trying to force the football. You know you're down 12 points at this juncture of the game. Great job by Jaron Reed not getting out of his rush lane. Drake May sells the ball to Julian Love.
Love with the pick, and again, it's Walker on his way to the most valuable player. This guy's going to make some money this offseason.
Yes, he
It's
is.
kind of was in a committee this year, we know, with Charbonnet, but Walker was great in this one. So was Jason Myers. This guy sets a Super Bowl record, 5 for 5 with field goals, and at this point, it's just really a matter of what's the margin going to be in the end. And New England trying to drive because touchdown and get the ball back, you never know. I know, it's lights out.
When this guy was drafted, Devin Witherspoon, I said he was a difference maker. He played with a level of physicality, tenacity, and work ethic that you wanted to see from a big-time DB. He makes the play here on Drake May. It's a really good, great scoop by the Osu, and now he's getting it to the end zone. No matter what, when you can put this sort of pressure on a quarterback, it's tough for even the #2 finisher in the MVP to have a great day.
Ochunna Nwosu there, and they celebrate. It's a Super Bowl championship for Mike McDonald and the Seahawks. Pleased to be joined now by Mike McDonald, a Super Bowl champion, the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Mike, a big smile on your face. You're shaking your head, man. You hear me describe you as what you are, Super Bowl champion. Enough time maybe has passed that it starts to settle, and the reality lands with you. What's the first thought as you hear me say what you are, Super Bowl champion?
I think you're lying. I think you're making it up. I just can't. I'm looking at the Jumbotron and just celebrating with our team. It's a magical time, man. I'm really proud. Really proud.
You should be. You guys were so dominant. And I'm just interested in the plan, the preparation, the execution, and when it starts to dawn on you, oh man, we're on one tonight. This might really be special. How do you hold those thoughts off and not let it seep in as the game is going on that it could be your time?
Yeah, you could feel how our guys were playing, and that was really cool. Our coaches had put together a great game plan. Our players, they prepared their tails off. I mean, they played with anticipation. They played within their rules. They played our style of football. I think once you got to halftime, you knew that we were going to be, that we were in good shape, that we were playing good, but you also knew that New England was going to have, a couple answers, and they were going to be able to get to some other stuff. So we really just stuck to our process and said, hey, look, let's just take one play at a time. Let's make these adjustments and go try to win a football game.
That dark side defense has got a lot of weapons, a lot of assets that can be deployed. But, man, you brought 21 from all over. I felt like Witherspoon was constantly disruptive. How much of a plan was that going in that we're really going to try to use him because he's such a difference maker?
Well, we had some pressures with Spoon in the game plan. We haven't really sent him that much this year, but we felt like there were some opportunities in some of the longer down and distances, and he made him come to life. Just, sometimes it's not how you actually draw it up. The players got to go make plays, and that's what he did. I mean, he played a dynamite game. I'm really happy for him. He's such a great player. He's really like the lifeblood of our football team, and he deserves all the recognition.
As this year progresses, are there specific moments in time where it dawns on you that this group was potentially capable of something like this magical run that you went on?
I think we knew we had a great group in camp, and you just felt that we were together. And not having been there before, not having led a team like that, you're always trying to figure, okay, where is this going? But take it one day at a time. And then when we started stacking wins towards the middle of the season, you felt like we could win different ways. And that gives you a lot of confidence going to every week. And we just kept stacking. We never really took a step back in terms of our approach. And what a great group! Just what a remarkable group. They decided they were going to play a certain way and be a certain team, and they did it.
Well, I think they took their cues from you. I want to let you get to your family, your guys, and celebrate this night. But I just want to close with this thought: you're GA in Athens in 2010, man. And now you're standing there with a chain around your neck and a leather jacket and a hat that say champions on it at 38 years old. How's that even make sense to those GAs out there grinding tapes somewhere, wherever they might be? Like, you're the proof that it's possible. How satisfying is your journey that's in many ways just getting started in the NFL?
Never in my wildest dreams. All glory to God. All glory to God. That's the only way you can explain it.
I love it. It's proof to dream big, man, because you just never know. But there's a whole lot of hard work I know that's behind it, and a whole lot of great men and women within that organization that are celebrating in this night with you. Mike, congratulations. Thanks for taking some time, and we'll see you somewhere down the road, I hope, all right?
Great. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
And we appreciate his time. Just his second season at the helm. He becomes the third youngest coach to win the Super Bowl. 38 years, 227 days old, trailing only Sean McVay in Super Bowl 56, Mike Tomlin in Super Bowl 43. You know a little something about that.
A little something.
Second Super Bowl win in franchise history, joining the 2013 squad, led, of course, by the Legion of Boom. That defense was so dominant in that one. They avenged their loss to the Patriots in the last Super Bowl appearance. That was in 2014. This year's team also accomplished what the 14 group could not. They win the Super Bowl with the #1 scoring defense, including the Seahawks. Exactly 1/4 of all Super Bowl champions boast the #1 scoring defense that year. Think about what the defense that McDonald helped create in Baltimore. He takes it to Seattle, and they are celebrating, and we say hello as a group here in Los Angeles, where next year's Super Bowl will be. RC and Swag alongside. And Ryan, you were mentioning to me as we were watching this, you went up in camp.
Yeah.
And he said he knew in camp. What'd you see in camp?
The first thing you knew was that Jackson Smith-Njigba was killing anybody that tried to guard him. He ends up being the offensive player of the year. And they were in joint practices with Green Bay. And there was a segment or a section of practice where the defense fought Green Bay's offense 6 times in a row. And then they got to the sideline, and they was about to fight each other because everybody that held a Seattle Seahawk back ended up being the op. Those conversations they had on that sideline about the way that they were going to compete, the way that they were going to impose their physicality on other people, you saw that progress throughout the season. And it was late in this season, you go back to week 16, the 4th quarter against the Los Angeles Rams. Rashid Shaheed gets the touchdown on the punt return.
Yep.
Sam Darnold finds a way to win. Kenneth Walker ascends to be the focal point of that run game. And we've seen that team take off since then, and it culminates with the championship.
Swag, what most impressed you about how thoroughly dominant they were against New England tonight?
Still physicality. That's what this team was built and bred on. They missed one tackle early in the game, and we were all in the green room shocked that Love didn't make the tackle in the open space. But when you think about it, this defense as a unit has swarmed and played together the entire season. And, Scott, make no mistake about it, brother. When you score on defense, people should understand the percentages that you have in order to win a football game. It changes that much. They have continued to turn the football over. They have continued to play at a very high level. But the most important thing that the Seattle Seahawks defense did this year, they brought the fight to every single game. They dictated. I've been on TV with RC for now, 7 years? Yeah. And I said defenses that dictate as opposed to trying to catch and figure out what offenses are doing usually give themselves an opportunity to be great. And I think that's what Seattle did all season long.
Scott, I remember it like yesterday. We were there on a Saturday night. It's the Seahawks versus San Francisco. And they end up getting the #1 seed. And I could tell that night we all felt that they could end up here. I think, how much have you seen this team grow from that moment to now? Because it felt like they knew they were supposed to win.
And I'll be honest, I thought that their biggest hurdle was the team that was their biggest hurdle, and that's the Rams. Think about what Stafford and the Rams did. Stafford threw for 6 touchdowns and about 850 yards in 2 games at Seattle, and they didn't win either of them, which is not a knock on the Rams. It's credit to Seattle figuring out a way. But the fact that they got to be at home and the significance of them winning that game at home against on the road, I should say, against San Francisco, which meant the road went through the 12s and them up there. Does that game go different if it's in this building for the Rams? I don't know, but I do think they became who they thought they were from camp.
And to your point, Scott, one thing that doesn't need to get lost is the job that John Snyder, this general manager, did. Like, you think about this team coming into the preseason. First, Sam Darnold was out of Minnesota because of 2 bad games, because he won 14 of them during that season. DeMarcus Lawrence is called over as a vet that has been highly productive.
He'll join us later in the show.
Leonard Williams did not start as a Seattle Seahawk. Jaron Reed, you think about the draft. RC brought this up with Witherspoon, Emin this year, Byron Murphy. Like, this team has been built and put together to be what they are. But the most important thing that they did this offseason, more than anything, or 2 off seasons ago, was hire Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
From the Baltimore Ravens. Because when you think about his messaging leading into this season and telling those guys that they would hoist the Lombardi at the end of the year, being around football as long as he's been, there had to be something he saw to tell him that this particular team could be the team. And I think it was a mix of veterans that you brought in free agency, a mix of guys that was still hungry to win a Super Bowl, with young guys that were highly productive. That's what the Seattle Seahawks team was, but they supplemented this by bringing guys in that had played at a very high level in other places.
Also, too, this is a totally different team than won the Super Bowl years ago.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Over a decade ago, the Seattle Seahawks won a championship. They had a young quarterback in Russell Wilson. You had the Legion of Boom. All of those people are gone.
Yeah.
And so John Snyder had to see a vision of who can be my next coach. 2 defensive coaches have now won a Super Bowl in Seattle. Who's going to be my quarterback? How do I build this team around my core of players? But it still comes down to how you execute on game day.
Absolutely.
And Drake May, who is a great young player, was overmatched by what this defense could do. And Mike McDonald, in my opinion, owned Josh McDaniels like we saw long ago when Bill Belichick did the same to a young Sean McVay.
Interesting. I'm going to talk to Tim Hasselbeck in a bit about the Sam Darnold piece of this, because that is a redemptive arc, and it's a journey that's been completed, not done, but it's got to the finish line as a Super Bowl champion. You mentioned May. Mike Vrabel, who's been a Super Bowl champion as a player with New England, come up on the short end of it after this bitter defeat. Their thoughts.
We had a really, really good year, and one that I'm proud of, but in this game, I don't think is a reflection of our year. We lost, and we were beat. We were beat, out-coached and outplayed, and give them credit. Every year, unfortunately, somebody loses this game, and we can't take it out on the people that love us the most. And I try to tell them they got to find a place to get with those people tonight and thank them and hug them, because they'll be the ones that are there when you lose to the Steelers and you lose to the Bills and you lose to the Raiders and you lose the Super Bowl. They're gonna be the ones that love you no matter what. And I think we have a bunch of great guys, and I'm sure this will bother them for a while, and then we'll have to get back to work.
Yeah, he was a heartbeat. No doubt about that. He was. He's a big reason why we're here. He's always the same, and look forward to my relationship with him for a long time. He's a great person and hell of a football coach. It's a business at this level, but it's more than that. It's more than that. In a game like this, and I think that's about it. It's more than a business. There's people in there that are doing it, not for the money or the fame. And that's what's cool about this team.
That's a young dude with an old soul. Go ahead.
I would play.
I love that.
I would play with him. I want Drake May on my team. And I hope you never lose that. I hope Drake May never gets to a point where his feelings aren't broken after losing the biggest game he'll ever play in. I hope he never gets to a point where he can't recognize what everyone in that building from the top to the bottom does to help you win football games. To talk about his coach in that way and say how he's looking forward to the rest of what their relationship is going to be, to talk about the fact that they're not playing for money, you're not playing for fame, like that's what happens when you get to this point. Nobody ever thinks about losing the Super Bowl until you lose it.
Yeah.
If you're good enough to get there, you believe that you can win it, and it is heartbreaking.
And he's only a second-year man and the second youngest quarterback ever to play. And to hear it, that kind of wisdom, man, that's heavy. And he did mention took an injection in his shoulder, and we point that out because there was a shoulder injury, and he's a quarterback. I'm sure plenty of other players did as well to be available for this game. It was clear, fellas, that they were in deep water early and that this was not a day or a night for him, the quarterback, or for them. What do they take away and move forward with as a group, Swag?
The young players on this football team got a quick dose of what this league is about. So that should help propel them as their season goes along. You hear the pain and the discomfort in Drake May in this loss, but it seems like it's the right makeup and mentality that'll fuel them to recycle this thing again. RC sits up here as a Super Bowl champion, but you also lost one. And you got to decide how you respond. And I think Mike Vrabel is the perfect coach for that, because he played and he understands how you got to kind of recycle and reshift your mind to get ready to try to make a run again. But more importantly, man, these young players for the New England Patriots, and I know we're going to talk about Will Campbell and what he gave up tonight, but to play in the Super Bowl as a rookie and to be on this stage and to play the playoff games that they played and the level of adversity that you face in playing three of the top defenses in the NFL on your way to having an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl, I think it's going to pay dividends for them. This team is going to be about now, how much leadership do you have? How fast do these young guys grow up and recognize that you just don't get here by lining up again? This is a hard road to travel to try to get back to this game, but hopefully they take some of this experience tonight, some of this pain, and it builds grit, it builds some callous, it puts them in a mindset that they can do it again, but next time they have this opportunity, hopefully they understand what it means to play that 3-hour game.
They better recognize you are not entitled
100%
to this. Right? Like, you could be in New England and you could see all the trophies and you could know that they already have 6, and now you're Drake May and it's your second year, you're Will Campbell and it's your first year, and you could feel like, hey man, we gonna be back here every year. You gotta remember, they got dogs over there. Josh still over there. Joe's still over there. Lamar's still over there.
Sure.
Right? Patrick's still over there.
I'm pretty sure their head coach would be the first guy to remind them that this is not a birthright.
Exactly. Like that's the conversation you have to have. I remember William Gay was a rookie that played a ton for our defense in his first year. And I remember him telling me, I felt like after we won that Super Bowl, we were going to get back every year. I remember when Coach Tomlin walked off the field in 2011. When Coach Tomlin walked off the field in 2011 with me, I thought we would be back again. Thought Aaron Rodgers would be back again. Never happened.
When we continue, everything that's on that screen, including I scored a touchdown, as we continue the handoff from SoFi in Los Angeles.
We treat our pets.
This is a tough and it's a cruel business. We have to produce. We're only here because we win.
This is what I believe football is all about. To all of these men, I want to say that football is not just a game, but a way of life. It's a game of courage, it's a game of sacrifice, it's a game of dedication, and it's a game of love. It's a game where the only satisfaction they receive is to be a part of the successful whole. It's a game which teaches us how to laugh, yet not forget how to weep. Work and sacrifice and perseverance and competitive drive and selflessness is the price that each and every one must pay to achieve the goals that are worthwhile. The spirit, the will to win, the will to excel, these are the things that endure. The quality of life is a full measure of a man's personal commitment to this excellence and to this victory, not only in football, but in every endeavor. This is what I believe football is all about.
Super Bowl 60 belongs to Seattle. Their defense made it very difficult on Drake May throughout. It's 12-0 and another sack, as he was sacked more than any other quarterback in the postseason ever. That's Derek Hall, recovered by Byron Murphy. Mike McDonald loves it, this call on Seattle radio.
May steps up in the pocket, he gets hit, ball is on the ground, Seahawks fall on it. Murphy, Seahawks have it.
As Derek Hall on the sack, first Seahawk player with multiple sacks in a Super Bowl. Still yet to see a touchdown. That changes as Sam Darnold finds A.J. Barner as the third quarter comes to a close. The drive continues early fourth. Cooper Kupp was targeted quite a bit. Jackson Smith and Jigba was hobbled a bit. Also, New England was going to try to limit the very best offensive weapon in that Seahawk arsenal. Kupp, a 9-yard catch there. And, oh, looky there. Stanford Steve said he liked Barner for a touchdown. There it is. Here's Steve Rabel again with a call to all the folks listening up in Seattle.
Alani in the backfield now. Play fake to him. Sam stops, looks, throws, got a man wide open. Touchdown, Seahawks! It is A.J. Barner.
They're going wild at Moonshine Barbecue. Sam Darnold on his journey to the Lombardi.
Yeah, I think it's all about my journey. The reason that I'm here is because of my journey, because of the ups and downs, especially the downs that I went through early on in my career. I learned so much about myself, about football. It's funny how things work, but that's life. You know, I'm just going to continue to keep working. You know, the journey and everything that comes with it, and being able to win a Super Bowl, it hasn't really sunk in. Even just saying it out loud, kind of, you know, it's an awesome moment that, you know, I was able to share tonight with a lot of my teammates and coaches.
Seahawks entered the season 60-1 to win the Super Bowl. That's tied for the second longest preseason odds by a champion in the last half century, and the longest since the Patriots of 2001. DeMarcus Lawrence joins us now, a Super Bowl champion. You got folks in your arms, DeMarcus. This is Scott Van Pelt. Welcome to SportsCenter. Who you got with you tonight?
Yeah, I got my family with me. Got my girls, Malaya, Miliana, my son, Damari, my other son, daughter in the back.
Love it.
Oh,
and
man,
am I reading this right? What's up with Sasha's pregnant?
Yeah, man, we got another one on the way. She's 37 weeks pregnant. You know, thank God, you know, she didn't deliver today, but yeah, we're expecting another one.
Oh, well, that's obviously the greatest blessing in life, and we understand that. But as a champion now, this day, this night, and the role your defense played in it, how do you best sum up the emotions that I imagine are starting to land in your lap right now?
All glory to God, man. You know, this is something that we envisioned all the way since OTA, since we came together as a team. We knew what we had in our locker room. It was just all about going in, week out, proving ourselves. And, you know, we was able to make it to this moment and make a statement.
A loud statement at that. Your defense was spectacular. As this game wore on, what was your sense as a defense of how dominant you were and how much you were able to seemingly frustrate the Patriots?
Yeah, man. We've been having a dominant defense all year. You know, I don't believe, you know, this moment changed anything. You know, this moment is not bigger than us. If the moment was bigger than us, then we would have never been here. So, you know, it was just going out there, focus on the goal at hand, and we knew we had a dominant run defense, and the only thing we had left was to get after the quarterback.
And you guys did that. I mean, it was 6 or 7, depending on how you want to kind of grade the Witherspoon. Was it a fumble? Was it whatever it was 6 for your defense, and that by that point the party was on. As this game is clearly going to go your way, what are those final moments like as you realize that this is a Lombardi that's going to be in your hands and in your team's hands?
I mean, I try to control my emotions, you know, play, you know, every snap, you know, even the last snap, because you never know, you know, what you have next year or whatever happens. So, you know, just being in this moment, trying to soak up, you know, everything that I can, and shoot, even go get a sack myself.
I talked to Swag about who you are.
Yeah.
And it's a professional, an adult in the room, a leader of men. How are you able to bring that, who you are, to a room that's got some already and become such a clear and obvious leader among this group?
Yeah, man, we already had leaders in our locker room, but, you know, I think, you know, the guys accepted me so well. You know, they wanted to learn from me, and shoot, you know, I wanted to learn from, you know, those guys too. So, you know, we meshed so well and, you know, bonded, you know, over time, and we just happy to be in this moment.
Understood. And just as a last thought, you mentioned to me a moment ago you want to try to be in control of your emotions, and I appreciate that. But at some point with your family, soon to be growing family, it's going to hit you. You did it, and you're a big part of why.
Oh, yeah.
What will be the most satisfying part of being a champion with this group of men in Seattle?
I think the journey is the most, you know, satisfying part. You know, what we witnessed and went through, you know, throughout this whole year. You know, just my transition from Dallas to here to Seattle, and I mean, you know, all the hard work over the offseason and now being in this moment, you know, I can't even explain it, man. I'm just so grateful and, you know, happy to be here.
Understood. Look, you said it wasn't going to happen in Dallas, but you believed it would happen in Seattle, and here you are. And I know your family is there with you, and it's time to be with them and celebrate this moment with them. Champions of the world, man, congratulations and all blessings on the new arrival. I hope everything goes smoothly, all right?
Appreciate y'all, man.
When we continue, the MVP, Kenneth Walker, joins us. He was spectacular. The defense set the tone. He ran it. You run it and play defense, you can win in this league. Seattle did. Seattle, champions of the world. They didn't turn the ball over once in the playoffs. Their defense was absolutely suffocating. And as I said, going to break a moment ago, it's a recipe as old as time. If you can run the football and play defense, you can win. You see Kenneth Walker among the shorter odds to win MVP. You flash back to the last time it was a running back to receive that honor. It's Terrell Davis, $157, as the Broncos knocked off the Packers in '98. Iconic performance from him for certain. This game was a bit different in the sense that it was their defense that really took the Patriots out of it in so many ways, but Walker had two significant chunk runs, one for 30, and then a few plays later, 29 on the way to 94 first half rushing yards. The Patriots had 51 yards in the first half and just 4 first downs. You see, that's the most by a player and a half in the Super Bowl since Timmy Smith's legendary 131 for Washington in Super Bowl 22. Again, it's field goals, as the Patriots defense is doing everything it can to keep him in it. Walker's not always, or often, I guess I should say more accurately, used in the passing game, but here he is. And Walker's family in the crowd, that's significant, as he'll share in a moment when he joins us. Another field goal, it's 12-0. Now 19-7. Again, it's a toss to Walker. And you remember Zach Charbonnet throughout the year, he was the guy that was used quite a bit. Walker, at times in the season, was kind of used sporadically, but he came on in such a force late in the season, particularly in this one, 161 scrimmage odds. He is the MVP winner as Seattle knocks off New England. We are joined now by the most valuable player of Super Bowl 60. It's Kenneth Walker. I talked to your head coach, and I asked him if he could have ever imagined when he was a GA at Georgia in 2010 that he'd be a Super Bowl winning coach at 38. I'm asking you, if when you woke up this morning, you dreamed the dream that you'd be the most valuable player in this game, Kenneth, is it real?
It's still a surreal moment right now, man. It hasn't really hit me. You know, I spent time with my family after the game and, you know, my teammates, so it still means a lot to me, and we're going to celebrate later on.
There was a cool moment on the broadcast where they showed your family going crazy watching you. Just when you got with them after it happened, what are those moments like? The folks that have been with you since you're a little guy playing Pee-wee football, and now here you are on the biggest stage contributing like this.
It means a lot. You know, it's a journey. It's been a journey in life, and it's cool to see my parents and my dad to come out here. You know, this is my dad's first game actually to ever be in an NFL game, and it was the Super Bowl, so it means a lot to me, and I know he's proud.
And, oh, man, there's nothing better than making your folks proud. And from the jump, it was clear that you were going to have a big night. You had some significant chunk runs. When you start getting going like that and you get momentum like that, how does the sense feel that maybe you're running downhill all night? Is that a feeling that you have?
Yeah, definitely. As a running back, I feel like you got to have that rhythm, and I feel like I got in that rhythm a little later in the first and early in the second quarter. And, you know, my O-line, I got to give credit to my O-line, wide receivers, and tight ends for making my job a lot easier.
What would you say about your defense and the role they played in this amazing season now as Super Bowl champions? As you watch them do their job, what most impressed you?
you know, the brotherhood that they got over there. I know the whole team is a brotherhood, but, you know, the way those guys play together and the way they're able to shut teams out, that's a lot of great offenses around the league, and they were able to, you know, play the way they play. It means a lot for the offense and, you know, everybody in this organization.
I talked to DeMarcus Lawrence. I talked to your head coach, and now talking to you. I'm just struck by, and I don't expect you all to be jumping around acting crazy, but I'm just struck by how calm you are at the moment. When do you think it hits you and it dawns on you that what happened today happened and that you were a huge part of why Seattle will be throwing a parade?
I think pretty much later on tonight when I'm chilling in my room with my family, just spending time with them, I think that's when it's really going to hit, you know, because throughout the season, you know, you got the same mentality that we had as 1-0, 1-0. So it was just another game for us, and I think that's when it'll hit later on tonight.
Well, I'm going to let you get to that. I don't ever count on another man's money, but this is a nice way to end the season. I know free agency is around the corner. Whatever happens next, this moment will belong to you forever. Super Bowl 60, you're the most valuable player. Congratulations on a great night and the title champion that you'll wear forever as well. Thanks for taking a minute with me.
I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for having me.
Kenneth Walker, the third. He dominates the postseason for Seattle. 100 or more scrimmage yards in all 3 postseason games, accounting for nearly half of their yards at Super Bowl 60, becoming the 8th running back in NFL history to win the MVP in the Super Bowl. Tim Hasselbeck is with me. Cool setup here, isn't it?
Very cool setup.
And we'll obviously be here next year for the Super Bowl. And I'm going to get your touch screen and some specifics in a minute. But just first, the overarching thought of this night. I mean, frankly, the game's pretty boring for most of it because of what Seattle was able to do to the Patriots.
You said it earlier in the night, and then that graphic, I think, hammers it home. Think about the postseason for them. Yeah. Kenneth Walker, over 100 yards, you know, rushing in their postseason games. And then the defense. You run the football, and you play good defense, and then your quarterback doesn't mess it up. Like, it may not sound like a real exciting formula to win a Super Bowl, but it works. It's a winning formula because it really was, I mean, that was the story of tonight.
The other part of the winning formula is double moves, but we'll talk about that in the offseason as you prepare for next fall. That's another topic for another day. All right, you're so good at showing us ways that things happen that are impactful. In terms of what Mike Macdonald and this defense did, what'd they do tonight?
You when you were interviewing Macdonald, said, you know, there was a plan, right? And then execution of the plan is kind of what he followed up with. And so I thought what they did an excellent job of is they continue to play the hits. You know, you look at it pre-snap, you get 2 high safeties, and they're not creeping down. That's not telling you blitz look on 3rd and long. But here comes Witherspoon. That's right before the snap. And so as we play this forward, here comes that slot pressure. And why that matters is Campbell's there on the defensive end, and so you've got a free runner. And so Drake May, as we play it forward, is just going to end up escaping outside the pocket, throwing the football away. That's the first 3rd down of the game. Well, again, play the hits. Safeties look high. It's not a pressure look. I understand it's a long down and distance, but here comes the slot pressure once again. Now it's Moses, the right tackle. You would think that he's fanning out to Lawrence, but as we play this forward, he gets confused. And so now you've got a free runner in Witherspoon into Drake May's lap, and he goes down for the sack. I think it's just a great example of having a game plan, putting it together, and then understanding that, wait, they don't have an answer for it. We're going to come back to it. And that doesn't typically happen in the NFL. Sometimes you think, oh, okay, they're going to be ready for it the next time. We're going to move to something else. Seattle didn't do that. Credit to Mike Macdonald for saying, look, you're going to have to prove to us that you have an answer for it.
They didn't.
Otherwise, you're going to get it all night long, which is what they did.
I was scribbling down some notes about quarterbacks because this game so often is a night. Steve Young goes wild, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Joe Montana had 5, and I look at the quarterbacks who had 4. Brady, Aikman, Doug Williams, Terry Bradshaw. Often it's quarterbacks going crazy. Sam Darnold did not do that tonight because he didn't have to. But he still does, I think, the hardest thing to do for a quarterback in this league, which is change the way he's seen. What did he show you that is different about who he has become as a quarterback?
I think you have to understand this. A highly recruited kid coming out of high school, goes to SC. Every quarterback is coming out of SC in that era. First-round draft pick, and then he absolutely fails. And everybody said he failed.
Yeah.
And to deal with that, to be able to fight back from that, I heard him talk about how really his parents continued to believe in him, which allowed him to believe in himself, to keep chasing it. That's the only, like, I don't know how else you can kind of fight through that when everyone is telling you, hey, you're not good enough to be a starter. His 15, because then it didn't go from, you know, Jets to quick stop in Minnesota to here. That's not what happened. The journey to this was quite frankly a brutal journey where he was fighting for his career to prove that he even belonged in the National Football League. That takes an incredible amount of belief in yourself, and then also just mental toughness.
The other side of the ledger here is Drake May, who's had a different path, also taken third, but has immediately gotten to this stage in his second season. And we shared the emotion that I think struck the guys as being the kind of stuff that's a leader of men and impressive stuff. This was not his night. His shoulder was banged up. Just how much, we don't know. Moving forward from this and who he will be in the league, future looks pretty bright. What do you say about him?
Yeah, I think the future is incredibly bright. I think the thing, and the guys made the point on the set, you guys are talking about it, it's a tough road in the AFC. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in the AFC.
Yeah, man.
And so you think about, you know, we're talking about him being the second youngest quarterback after Marino to get there. Well, Marino had a long career, didn't get to experience that again. And so, you just don't know. You know, some good fortune has to come your way with your team to get yourself to that point. I think what will be hard for Drake is that this was not his best night. The first half, I don't think he was getting a whole lot of help from his teammates. They did a bad job of protecting him in the first half. I think what happened in the first half affected how he played in the second half. And I don't think he's going to like what he sees when he watches how he played in the second half. He's going to have to get over that. He's going to have the resolve, the grit, the resilience to put that behind him because he can be a remarkable player.
I just want to say to you, for all of them to hear, how much I appreciate you, man. You really make the effort to come to D.C. You're coaching ball. You got a family. I really, really, really appreciate your friendship, your time, and what you bring to the table because you're awesome at this, man, so thank you.
I do as well. This is a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun to get through this with you every Sunday night, for sure.
2 words, or is it 1 move? Double moves. Just keep
we need more of those.
Just keep it in mind. They work a lot. They work a lot. Tim Hasselbeck, ladies and gentlemen. All right, what are we doing next? We got more interviews? No, I think we pretty much brought you those. We'll continue to revisit the journey to the Super Bowl. The 12s are celebrating. Is Moonshine still open? I think Moonshine's open. Seattle wins its 2nd Super Bowl as they ride the defense in the running game. We look back to a postseason of dominance. Divisional round, hosting San Francisco and Rashid Shaheed. What a pickup he was before the trade deadline. Eddie Pinheiro misses on the trip attempt. 95 yards to the residents. Here's how it sounded on the radio in Seattle.
Shaheed at his own 5, across the 10, 15, 20. Cut straight upfield, has a gap, across the 40, midfield 50, trying to trip him, go get him, flag is down, Shaheed to the end zone. Holy catfish, a 95-yard touchdown, Seahawks.
They boat race San Francisco 41-6. Their toughest obstacle, the LA Rams. Sam Darnold at his best when it mattered most. 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. They didn't turn the ball over once in the playoffs. Darnold, the 8th quarterback all time to start a Super Bowl in a first season with a team, the first since Matthew Stafford with the Rams in 2021. That earned him the trip to Santa Clara and the Super Bowl on Sunday. The defense was absolutely relentless. They pressured Drake May on more than a third of his dropbacks. They forced a pair of interceptions. The final, a pick 6. Uchenna Nwosu, after Witherspoon gets home on the blitz, 6 sacks, 3 takeaways, and it's a 29-13 win over New England. One more time, we hear what they heard in Seattle on the radio.
The Seahawks win Super Bowl 60. They are bringing the Lombardi back to the Northwest, and the party begins at Levi Stadium and in Seattle, and it won't stop for days.
I would imagine the 12s will be celebrating for days and days and days, as they should, as they win their second ever Super Bowl. Now, of the more than 25,000 players in NFL history, only 236 have crossed the goal line to stand alone on the most hallowed ground in all of football. And that, of course, would be the end zone in the Super Bowl. Every week this year, the year of the Super Bowl on ESPN, we're going to celebrate these moments and tell the stories of these players. The moment that they achieved football immortality on the biggest stage in the game. Now, some of these touchdowns have been scored by all-timers. They're Hall of Famers, while others, frankly, have been allowed to drift off into the ether over time. The specifics really remembered only by the men that scored the touchdown and know that moment well. But it's time to change all that. The 159th player ever to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl, David Tyree.
My name is David Tyree. I played for the New York Football Giants, and I scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. I don't know if there's any notoriety to my Super Bowl touchdown because I think I have the greatest catch in Super Bowl history.
Wide open Tyree, who makes the catch.
And the most forgotten touchdown in Super Bowl history.
Super Bowl Sunday. At stake, the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Gentlemen, away we go.
December 16th was the day when my mom passed away. So when I think about the road of emotions leading up to this Super Bowl run, football kind of becomes, the game itself becomes a healing mechanism, the team becomes a healing mechanism. Friday is a dress rehearsal practice in the National Football League. You want it clean, crisp. And it just so happened that I have the absolute worst practice of a wide receiver maybe in history.
What, I give you a compliment coming out here, now you can't catch a damn thing.
What's a bad NFL practice for a receiver? 1 drop, 2 drops. And it was definitely more than that. It was a horrible practice, but it was a great story because when the lights show up, you got to make the plays. And Fridays, there was no lights on Friday, thank God.
So the Giants are marching, and the Patriots are giving ground.
I had someone tell me the night before the game, you're going to make the big play.
2nd and 3.
So when they call the pop pass, the sell it pass, you're like, this is it. It's on. This is my moment.
Tyree in motion, handoff, the play fake, manning to throw to the end zone, touchdown! David Tyree in the play, and the Giants have the lead with 11:05 to go in the ballgame.
When I crossed the end zone and I scored that touchdown and I lifted up that ball to the heavens, not only was it God, but it was a dedication to mom. This is the moment where a little kid from East Orange, Montclair, New Jersey, out of nowhere, scores a go-ahead touchdown against the undefeated Patriot team in the 4th quarter that blows open one of the greatest games ever. I'm the epitome of all things being possible, and that touchdown is one of the greatest moments of my life.
This is a day that makes legends, a Kingmaker Day. That's what the Super Bowl is, and Seattle are the reigning champions. More on their dominating defense as we continue on SportsCenter from Los Angeles. I've been struck by how calm all these Seahawks are. I think maybe they're just going to wait to really...
I don't think it's set in yet.
Oh, maybe it is.
There you go.
Here we go.
Hit the liquids.
Here we go. Devin Witherspoon on his quarterback.
That's Sammy D for you. And not my dog, Super Bowl winner. I see you, Sammy.
All right. 21. As his coach said, they had some blitzes drawn up for him, and He got home quite a bit. It's, ladies and gentlemen, Stanford Steve.
How are you?
Hashtag ball talk. You ready?
Yeah.
The best and worst prop of the night, please.
Sam Darnold's rushing yards. You would think, he's going to be active. He's going to be moving around. You go over. Let's go to the third quarter.
All right, here we go.
No rush yards yet because sacks don't count. Look at this. Stiff arm, cut back, 11 yards. You're good. Sacks don't count.
You're good.
Fourth quarter, they're trying to run the clock out. Loss of 6. That's terrific.
Thoughts and prayers. I believe our guy Jimmy Traina might have taken.
No, not Jimmy. He doesn't lose.
Doesn't he?
No.
I think he might have lost on that one. Big picture thought on this game. What most impressed you about Seattle?
The way the Seattle Seahawks attacked, exposed the Patriots' offensive line. The way they kept bringing Witherspoon, they couldn't get it synced up front, and that flustered things. You had guys back, getting blocked, blown back into Drake May. You had guys getting, him trying to step up in the pocket, couldn't do it. The physicality with what Seattle brought, I thought was so impressive.
I mean, it just became very clear. Even as the game got to the point where, you score once, you never know. Like, you knew that there was no path for New England to win this game just based on the way Seattle was playing defense.
And I think they exuded so much energy in the first half, hanging around. You get it to 9-0. You go into the half. You got a long halftime. All right, we're getting the ball. 3 and out again. It's
that's one of the notes I wrote down. It was the third down play. You're like, this is a huge play, and it's just you just realize, no, it's not, because Seattle's just not going to allow you to be in this football game. We talk about Darnold, and obviously you're in the college football space, and we paid so much attention to him going back to his time at USC. From LA and USC glamour program to New York City, and it fails very, very publicly and very significantly.
Yeah.
For him to get to this place, and he talked about the journey, I think everyone's happy for the guy. I believed he could be a competent starting quarterback somewhere in the league, but I don't know that I thought he could be who he's been the last 2 years. Did you?
No. I look at a couple things. It just doesn't happen in the league. When those guys fail and they try and go somewhere else, it doesn't usually work out. And then on top of it, Scott, we were there in Arizona last year because of the fires here, and the Rams play the home game, and the Vikings come off and get embarrassed by Detroit. And it's like, all right, they're going to go on the road. They don't have to go to the Rams home stadium, and they get embarrassed. And what was that flight home for him? Like, I just coughed everything up in the last 2 weeks. I won 14 games with this team, and then poof, he's in Seattle. It's like, I think he knew he was in a good situation. Everyone, Ryan talked about it, Coach talked about it, how good they felt about themselves in camp, and it's awesome.
You got to, what is this?
Darnold, first time ever on the show at SVP. Look at that. Remember the old taped interviews?
Sorta. I'm checking me out. Look.
Of course you are.
I was kind of fat.
Are those different glasses?
No, I think I was just kind of fat.
Yeah. Good pocket square.
I think maybe that was when I was going over the calf. That's when the calf still had like pasta night.
You would get chicken and broccoli every night.
Look at young Sam. He was like 21 years old. He was the youngest quarterback in the National Football League, and he was in New York City from LA. And I mean, there was a lot on his plate, man.
Yeah, one thing. Look at this.
Yeah.
How good is this?
Are we out here all week next year?
I think for the year.
Oh, we're here.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have brought more underwear.
Timeshare. If the Commanders win the Super Bowl a year from now, right here, you're jumping in.
Fine. Just tell Russillo we're going to stay. He's got a palatial estate at the beach. We're just going to hang out. We're going to stay with him. What's the name of that joint we were in last night?
900?
Yeah, it's a good spot. That's a speakeasy.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, stop
Not
talking.
allowed.
Take us to break.
Coming up.
What are we doing? Party's on in Seattle. The defense, the running game, the redemption story, it's all in play. Seahawks for the second time. Champs of the world.
It's late night in Seattle. You're watching Scott Van Pelt on SportsCenter at night.
Seattle will be celebrating its second Super Bowl championship, dominating defense. They trailed for about a minute the whole postseason, never turned the football over, and they roll in this one. Super Bowl 60 and Leonard Williams on Wednesday, talking about the Seattle defense.
I would say this is the most complete defense and also complete team I've been a part of. Our defense is not just good on all three levels, but we have depth on all three levels.
It's a 3-0 lead, and here comes the dark side defense. It's Derek Hall bringing down Drake May. This was such a significant portion of the Seattle game plan. Coach McDonald shared that they had some Witherspoon blitzes they were ready to unleash, and they do. He takes down May. It's a 6-0 game. Here comes Riley Mills. He gets the grab on May. Seattle with 3 sacks. And May in this postseason was sacked more than any other quarterback in playoff history. Here comes Byron Murphy, the second. That secondary doing its job. May had nowhere to go with the football. Middle of the third, 12-0, and actually had a man, Stephon Diggs, and May unable to find him. Third down, a problem. That's the money down in this league. Here's another one. It's another third down. And keep an eye on Hall as he's able to get home, and then it's Murphy who's able to fall on it. Mike McDonald, the architect of this defense, said he knew it in camp. And now they're going to celebrate a title. 48% pressure rate through 3. And the Patriots couldn't get much of anything going. Here comes 21 again. This time it's 21 for 6. And it's 7. Who's got the ball in his hands? Uchenna Nwosu. May under duress. Devon Witherspoon gets home. And spectacular job there. Julian Love afterwards with the Seattle defense providing the fuel in the tank. He's with Jeff Darlington.
3 turnovers, 6 sacks. At what point did you know in this game that it was yours?
Early in the first quarter. I think just the style of play we put on display early let us know everything we need to know.
This was a normal game for us, and it's just our coach, the way he's had us wired, the way he's just constantly been on us, it makes it easy.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable play calling by him, actually the first defensive play caller to win a Super Bowl as a head coach. What can you say about him?
Mike's a bad man. Yeah. He's young too, so y'all got to deal with him for a long time.
One more time.
A word on the dark side.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, they're the best in the world. Defense wins championships. We're not here without our defense. From the front line to the back line, those guys, man, are special, and we sharpened our tools with them in the offseason, and they got us better, and we're not here without our defense, man. The real dark side get dark, like, for real.
Shout out Jeff Darlington. On the loose.
He worked hard this week.
Heck yeah. The art of the handoff. Wright Thompson on the way. Now that Super Bowl 60 is over, all 32 teams turn their attention to hopefully being the team that holds the Lombardi, as Super Bowl 61 will be played in SoFi Stadium over my shoulder. One of the things we'll remember from this year's game, the performance of Kenneth Walker. 27 handoffs taken from his quarterback, Sam Darnold, as he runs his way into the history books as the MVP of the Super Bowl. All of us here at ESPN and the Walt Disney Company have taken the handoff to our year representing the biggest event in American sports. For more on one of the simplest yet most important fundamentals of football, here's the great Wright Thompson.
It seems so simple, so routine. But highly paid professionals make a hash of it all the time. When it goes right, no one notices. But when it goes wrong, oh boy.
The ball just fell out of his hand.
I'm talking, of course, about the handoff. ESPN is taking the ball from our friends with the Peacock, and to make sure we didn't make a hash of it, we brought in the experts.
Bateman, handoff Smith. Holy cow, what a great play. Touchdown, Emmitt Smith.
No duo in NFL history has more successful handoffs than Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith.
It really is up to the quarterback to place the ball properly. Emmett would refer to that as the breadbasket.
He meets me at the mesh point, the pocket is clean, it's in the breadbasket.
For the play to work, there's certain essentials.
Trust. It all begins with trust.
Preparation.
Timing. Patience. Precision.
Confidence, competitiveness.
Vision.
Feel.
Consistency.
Putting in the work.
Practice, practice, practice. We make it look easy.
The handoff is simple until it's not. It's one of those things that's taken for granted until the ball's on the ground.
And it's the first fumble that Emmitt Smith has lost all year.
Much like I did so many times handing the ball off to Emmett, the analogy is very appropriate for what we're embarking upon at ESPN.
Super Bowl Sunday.
And this is it, the biggest game in sports.
A handoff signals the start of something new, a beginning. With an endless horizon.
That's incredible. What a comeback.
It's transferred to us to carry that responsibility forward and continue with the legacy and the history of this great game and this great event.
Oh my God! Kickoff at the goal line!
This is your Super Bowl dagger!
With the most improbable win in recent memory.
What a finish to an unbelievable Super Bowl!
It's in the breadbasket, and it's sitting in a safe spot. All bets are off.
It's our ball now. See you at SoFi.
We're here right now, and we take a look down the road. According to our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook, at the favorites, Seahawks enter as early co-favorites to repeat as Super Bowl champions alongside the Rams, which is fitting since that was the team that was a worthy obstacle and foe in their way. Rams hoping to play once again a home game here in the Super Bowl at SoFi. More SportsCenter from Los Angeles right after this. We got to go home because we got to work. we got podcast.
Yeah.
We follow Arizona, Kansas.
Okay.
Got TGL, so we're going to head home. Sam Darnold and Kenneth Walker III will be on SportsCenter from as the handoff continues on Monday.
Disneyland.
You were there.
Yeah.
Good times?
Yeah. A lot of people.
Favorite ride?
Credit coaster.
Yeah?
Fast. 0 to 55 in 5 seconds.
No, thank you. Went to Guardians of the Galaxy, had a medical event. That's neither here nor there. Thank you so much for being along for the ride. Appreciate all the hard-working crew that made this amazing setup possible. For Stan, for Steve, I am Scott Van Pelt. Congratulations to Seattle Super Bowl champions. We'll see you back in D.C. on Monday. Thanks for being with us. Time now for us to hand off to Super Bowl Live and Laura Roberts. Laura?